Anyway, I say all that to say, that's how trans people make me feel.
Dave Chappelle just released his new Netflix special, and once again, he is destroying all of the people on the woke left because he just simply doesn't care. Dave Chappelle is one of those people who is now too big to fail, and he doesn't have to listen. He doesn't have to play into the agenda. He doesn't have to play by the rules that everybody else has to play by. So Dave Chappelle released this new Netflix special, and there's a few clips that the left are really taking offense to, and are definitely going to try to cancel Dave Chappelle because of, but also going viral on the right because people are tired of this BS, and Dave Chappelle is straight up calling out the BS. So let's check out the clip, and then we'll get into some of the reactions from the clip.
And the only thing that got me out of that space was a comedian friend of mine, the late, great Norm Macdonald. That's right. Shout out to Norm. And what Norm did, which I'll never forget, is he knew that I was the biggest Jim Carrey fan in the world. Now, I'm not going to go all into it, but Jim Carrey is talented in a way that you can't practice or rehearse. What a God-given talent. I was fascinated with him. And Norm knew that. And he called me up and he goes, Dave, he says, I'm doing a movie with Jim Carrey. Do you want to meet?
By the way, I'm going to have to keep pausing because Netflix is super strict when it comes to these things, reposting these clips. But Dave Chappelle really is just a great storyteller. He really is. You know, just forget all the inflammatory stuff that he says here about this clip going viral, about him offending the woke left with this new special. Forget all that stuff. He really is just a great storyteller. He gets you captivated. Like, I'm sure watching this clip, you're already captivated on what he's going to say next.
Meet him? And I said, fuck, yes, I do. And it was the first time I could remember since my father died being excited. And the movie was called Man on the Moon. I didn't know any of this. And in this movie, Jim Carrey was playing another comedian I admired, the late, great Andy Kaufman. Yes, and Jim Carrey was so immersed in that role that from the moment he woke up to the time he went to bed at night, he would live his life as Andy Kaufman. I didn't know that. When they said cut, this nigga was still Andy Kaufman. So much so that everybody on the crew called him Andy. I didn't know any of that. I just went there to meet him, and when he walked into the room where we were supposed to meet, I screamed, Jim Carrey! And everyone said, no! Call him Andy. And I didn't understand. And then he came over and he was acting weird. I didn't know he was acting like Andy Kaufman. Just like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, hello. Andy? Now, in hindsight, how fucking lucky am I that I got to see one of the greatest artists of my time immersed in one of his most challenging processes ever. Very lucky to have seen that.
Once again, I have to keep pausing to do my best to not get hit by Netflix. It might not matter, but I have to do my best. But also, just the fact that Dave Chappelle got another Netflix special is also a huge W, because I remember the last time Dave Chappelle released a Netflix special, you know, there was all those protests saying, you must take this down. Like, there was actual protests outside the physical Netflix headquarters. So the fact that they just kind of said no, and not only did they say no, but they also gave Dave Chappelle another Netflix special. I don't know if they were like contractually obligated to do that before, but the fact that he got another Netflix special is kind of just proof that once you are like Dave Chappelle, it truly doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to play by the rules anymore. He is just too big to fail, because Netflix is obviously, you know, very woke. Like, they're very much playing into that agenda, but still platforming people like Dave Chappelle who do not play by those rules whatsoever.
But as it was happening, I was very disappointed. Because I wanted to meet Jim Carrey, and I had to pretend this nigga was Andy Kaufman all afternoon. And he was clearly Jim Carrey. I could look at him and I could see he was Jim Carrey. Anyway, I say all that to say, that's how trans people make me feel.
Notice how the entire crowd is cheering and clapping. Like, they're all happy. They all find that funny. They're all like, yes, like, I'm so glad we have people like Dave Chappelle to dispel the BS out there. Like, nobody, I mean, I'm sure you could find a couple of people in the crowd who were kind of upset. Like, I did see one guy just sitting there, but I don't know if that's just because he didn't feel like clapping or if he was actually like genuinely upset. I feel like if you're going to a Dave Chappelle Netflix special, you probably know what you're getting yourself into. There's going to be some jokes like that being said, but you can see the entire crowd was just cheering and clapping, and they're just so happy. Like, it's not even because it was that funny. Like, it was a pretty funny joke, but I'm sure that most of them are cheering and clapping because of the actual thing that he said, you know, the actual statement that was made, not because it was a super funny joke. Like, people are actually just tired of this BS, and people like Dave Chappelle are so desperately needed out there. God bless this man. He says what most people think. He is a voice of sanity in this world of confusion. Exactly, because they're pretending and demand everyone else pretend along with them. Yeah, they're pretty much just playing dress up and demanding. And if you don't play along, then you basically just lose everything. You can lose your job. People lose their bank accounts. Like, people lose everything if you don't play dress up with them, or at least act like you're going along with them. Dave does not hold back and isn't afraid to offend anyone with the truth through his comedy. Like I was saying, he's just too successful to fail at this point. You know, the fact that people were protesting, trying to get Dave Chappelle Netflix special, the last one, to get removed, and then he got another one. It just proves right there he is too big to fail. He can say whatever he wants and he'll still get, you know, the money. He'll still get new specials. And even if he doesn't, he has enough money at this point. He's big enough. His brand is big enough to where he doesn't care if he doesn't get another one. Perfectly delivered punchline. Bro is really the GOAT. So effortless. You know the joke is coming and it still hits you. What a legendary setup. It was actually a great setup. Like, it wasn't just the actual punchline. It wasn't just the statement that was made that was good. It was actually he's a really good storyteller. Like I said, he's a really good comedian. Truth, we don't want to LARP with you. Nobody does. And you can see that in the crowd reaction whenever Dave Chappelle delivers the punchline. Nobody wants to play along with this stuff anymore, man. Everybody's just tired of it. People are finally starting to wake up out there, and it's great to see. But we do need people like Dave Chappelle out there to continue to say stuff like this in their Netflix specials. Continue to say stuff like this on mainstream television, because we need more of the normies out there, the people who don't really know what's going on. We need them to start waking up as well. We need them to start getting fed up. We need them to start getting tired of this stuff and speaking up themselves. And once all of that happens, then there'll just be a snowball effect, and even more people will wake up, and even more change will be made, and even more people like Dave Chappelle will be getting platformed with Netflix specials. And once again, you could see it in the crowd reaction, how everybody is tired of this stuff, man. There's not a single person in the crowd that was mad because he made that joke. And yes, like I said, it could be because you know what you're getting yourself into when you go to a Dave Chappelle special. But I think it's more likely that everybody is tired of the BS, and they're just so glad that people like Dave Chappelle exist to also spread the message that we're tired of the BS and that we're not going to play along anymore. So let me know what you guys thought about this Dave Chappelle clip. Let me know what you thought about the entire Dave Chappelle Netflix special. If you did enjoy the video, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you in the next one.